The federal government says an Indigenous woman who was abused at a residential school must get Ottawa's permission and that of the Catholic Church, which ran the institution, before she can donate documents related to her case to a center that is preserving the horrific legacy of the schools. Angela Shishish, 72, says she wants to tell the world what happened to her and her sister at the infamous St. Anne's residential school in Fort Albany, Ontario, and she is determined to have her story documented at the National Centre for Truth and Reconciliation in Winnipeg. Everybody has to know what took place in that school, Ms. Shishish said on Tuesday. This is why I am not afraid, even though it is hurting me as much as it was when I was there. It feels that I am just reliving everything. But I want to do this. I want to be strong for my brothers and sisters who were there. Story continues below advertisement. In the early 2000s, Ms. Shishish was the lead plaintiff in a suit involving 156 students who were physically or sexually abused at the institution. That ended in a financial settlement in 2004, 2 years before the Indian Residential Schools Settlement Agreement, IRSA, was signed by lawyers for former students, the Assembly of First Nations, the federal government and the churches that ran the schools. The IRSA, which compensated those who attended the schools and provided additional money to those who were abused, came after an estimated 18,000 civil actions, included the one involving Ms. Shishish, had been launched by survivors. Among other things, the deal created the Truth and Reconciliation Commission to allow former students to recount what happened to them in the schools. The record of that testimony is being held at the National Center for Truth and Reconciliation. But when Ms. Shishish testified this year at the compensation hearing of another St. Anne's student, she learned that the 13-year-old transcripts of her court case, and those of the thousands of others who took the government to court, are not part of the center's collection. She is now asking the court to require the government and the Catholic Church to file documents related to her civil claim with the center. That includes transcripts that have not previously been made available for use during hearings under the Independent Assessment Process, IAP, which was established as part of the class action agreement to set compensation rates for those who were abused. And she is asking for the same rights to be granted to all the other people involved in the 18,000 claims that predate the IRSA. But Justice Department lawyers say in court documents filed last month that those transcripts are privileged and that Ms. Shishish can provide them to the center only once she has sought waiver of settlement privilege from Canada and the church entity. Charlie Angus, the NDP critic for Indigenous Affairs, said requiring the Catholic Church to give its permission is like saying you have to go to the abuser and get his permission to tell your story. Story continues below advertisement.